Just want to introduce ourselves and people in the office staff. So I'm Robbie Kelly. I serve as one of the 4-H youth development educators here in Elkhart County. I've worked here about 10 years, and I also serve as our county extension director. And with me tonight, I have Steele, and I'll let Steele introduce himself.
Yep, Steele Graybar. I'm the other 4-H educator. It's an old photo of me. I look a little different now, probably, but that's just the long hair. But yeah, I kind of do the non-livestock projects. I do a lot of scholarship stuff and trip stuff as well. But Robert and I have been a team now here for, what is it, 6, 7, 8 years? Something like that. It's almost 8 years, I think, that him and I have been working together. I think we're a pretty good team.
Yep, awesome. Down below, you'll see our extension office staff. Anytime you call in or email, these are the ladies that you're more than likely going to talk to. Penny and Susan serve as our 4-H secretaries. We have Nancy, who, if you work with any of our livestock projects, she'll be there to answer the phone too, and maybe some questions about animal ID. Jen Fink is our health and human sciences person and also does a lot of our social media content for us. And she does that for our whole entire office staff. And then Brandy Kavanaugh serves as our office coordinator and helps oversee all the runnings of our office with our support staff and helps and assists the educators. So one of the things that we talk about is the 4-H pledge when you go to a 4-H meeting. And so just a few things that stick out there. We always talk about the head, heart, hands, and health. Really are the 4 H's that we talk about. So as a 4-H'er, so I'm going to encourage you all, just like we would at a 4-H meeting, you can unmute yourself and I want you to stand up and we're going to do the 4-H pledge. So you can unmute yourself so you're not, the only one talking. So I see some of you all. So we're going to do the 4-H pledge together with the motions. So as we go along, so we say, I pledge my head to clearer thinking, my heart to greater loyalty, my hands to larger service, my health to better living for my club, my community, my country, and my world. Y'all are kind of quiet on the pledge.
Oh, I thought we were practicing. Are we now? I thought we were going to do it for real after you showed us. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to move on to the next one though.
Okay, all right.
So now that we've practiced the pledge, this is one of the things we say along with the American pledge at every single one of our 4-H club meetings. And so as you go through your 4-H journey, you're going to hear a lot about head, heart, hands, and health, and how our projects can relate to that and how it relates to you and your community as well. So what is 4-H? So we have, as any good organization, we have a mission and vision. So ultimately, 4-H is supposed to provide you with real life educational opportunities so that you can make a positive impact in where you live. And we also strive to be the premier county-based or community-based club empowering young people to reach their full potential. So you'll notice we have a lot of volunteers that help us do that. Most of the people that we have in our 4-H program are volunteers, and so without them, we couldn't do what we do. And I think one of the cool things about 4-H is they did a study a few years ago that 4-Hers are 4 times more likely to give back to their community, 2 times more likely to make healthier choices, and 2 times more likely to participate in a STEM activity. So there's some cool statistics about 4-H. One of the other things about 4-H too that I think that it's really important for everyone to know is that 4-H is actually the only federally funded youth development program. So 4-H is actually directly linked to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. So we get some of our funding for the 4-H program there. Each land grant institution has the responsibility for the 4-H program. So in Indiana, that happens to be Purdue. If you're from Ohio, it's Ohio State. If you're from Michigan, it's Michigan State. So that's how we're tied to Purdue University. And that's where 4-H has its connection there. And then that's because of the USDA. And then one of the fun things about Indiana is there are 92 4-H programs. So each county in Indiana has a local extension office. So that's not always the case in every state, but here in Indiana, we're very fortunate for that to happen. So I'm going to let Steele talk some about the 4-H clubs that we have in the different kinds.
All right. Yeah. So just to see if you guys know how to navigate Zoom, I guess. If you look in the bottom right, don't hit leave, but there's a button next to it that says reactions. If you're in a 4-H club, go ahead and put up a reaction, just any reaction, like the thumbs up or the crying emoji or whatever you want to put. You can use that button, bottom right, hit reactions, and then pick an emoji if you're in a 4-H club. I don't see any. I don't see any. Oh, some of them, there they are. Very good, very good. I don't know where the one with the halo is. Oh, there must be more after the first few. Well, good, very good. Yeah, so here in Elkhart County, we have about, I want to say 70 4-H clubs, maybe less, 60 now, maybe 60 4-H clubs. That fluctuates year to year. We gain some and we lose some. But in these club settings, this is where you, 4-Hers, will be working alongside caring, knowledgeable adults who have skills that they want to share with you, that they know that they think are important and want to teach you how to do. So most of our clubs are going to meet in a public location, whether that be at a school or a church, or we have some that meet at like a fire department, a library. They meet in public locations. Usually, again, not always, but like once a month. This is changing too over time. When I was a kid, that seemed like that was the only times clubs met was once a month. Now we'll have clubs that meet maybe only from January through June once a month, or we'll have clubs even that we'll talk about here in a second that meet for like a week straight every night, and that's it. So we're trying out some different models. That are usually, we're just trying to make it more convenient, not only for the leaders of those clubs and the youth that are in those clubs, but the parents too, because it can be there can be some transportation challenges as well. So we just want to make it as convenient for everybody involved. A lot of these clubs are going to teach basic citizenship, leadership, and like charitable skills. So that's always a trend amongst all of them. Some of them are going to be a little bit more specific in what they teach and focus more on one subject. And I'm going to just, I think we have a slide. Oh, this is the general club slide. Okay. So some of these general clubs, these are the clubs that will focus on a broad variety of topics. Some of these include like Cheyennes. If you're in the city of Elkhart, they meet at the public library here. Concord Lads and Lassies meets across the street from Concord Middle School. Panther Paw meets at the elementary school Woodview. I want to say right next to the high school, Woodview Elementary School in Napanee. Goshen Go-Getters actually meets on the fairgrounds in the exhibit building in Goshen. And then Bentonettes and Cadets, if you're in like the Millersburg, Benton area, they meet at a church in Benton. So we have general clubs all over the county. And typically those are the ones that'll meet once a month, usually at least January through June, sometimes year round. In addition to general clubs, we have subject-specific clubs, and these are the ones that are going to be, as the name implies, focused on a specific subject. And you have a list there of different clubs that are just dedicated to certain things. So, you know, if you're interested in bicycle, for example, there's a club that just does bicycle. If you are interested in rabbit, or any animal, actually, we have all of them. We have clubs that are dedicated to just those animals. Media club is one that we get questions about. If you're interested in becoming a journalist, for example, writing in a newspaper or interviewing people on TV, Media Club teaches those skills. I'm trying to think about some other ones. Camera Corps, if you were interested in being a professional photographer. We have a photography project, but we also have Camera Corps, which I think takes that to the next level and is going to teach you even more than that photography project would. Shooting sports, if you are interested in archery or shotgun or pistol or rifle, you have to start with archery. But we have, I believe, Robert, that is the largest club in the state of Indiana, is our Elkhart County 4-H Shooting Sports Club. They do a very good job. I think there's over 70 leaders in that club. It's a phenomenal opportunity if that's something that you're interested in. So those are just some examples. Remote control may not be something that you're not just like hitting the TV remote, right? That's not all that club does. No, that's actually remote control cars. They build and design and then race with remote control cars. So trying to hit some of the ones that maybe aren't as easily explainable. So if you have questions about any of those or any of the general clubs, you can put those things in chat and I will read those. But also what we want you to do right now, I believe, is if you know what club you're in, why don't you write that in chat as well? So we all can get an idea of what clubs you're in. I'm going to write the one that I was in when I was in 4-H. See, swine, fishing, shooting sports, dog club, sewing, dairy feeder. Very good. Lots of good answers. Lots of good clubs. Robert, what club were you in?
So the county that I grew up in, I was actually only in one club because unlike Elkhart County, we didn't have multiple species clubs, but I was in what we called the Bethel Beefers and Sheepers.
Oh, that's a funny name.
Yeah. Mostly focused on sheep and beef cows.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think you're up next with the next slide. Oh, we got another shooting sports in here. Great.
Perfect. So we're going to talk a little bit about 4-H projects. So many of you, as I can see through the chat, are in a project-specific club. So that we offer over 70 different projects in the 4-H program. So you might learn one or two tonight that might make you of interest. So what I want you to do, I asked everyone to get a piece of paper earlier. So if you haven't done that, I'll give you a few seconds to go get that piece of paper. And make sure you get a writing utensil too. So on the screen, you're going to see, I want you to draw 5 boxes, just like what's on your paper. Okay. So you're going to go out and draw 5 boxes, and they don't have to be the same size. This is just for you to take some marks on. So got my 5 here drawn out. Doesn't help that I'm using a green pen and it's hard to see. So give you a few more seconds to get that done. Then what I want you to do is I want you to label each of them. So you're going to label one of them red, one orange, the next one yellow, green, and then blue. So I'll give you a few seconds to do that. All right, well, hopefully everyone has got their papers labeled and is ready to roll. So we're going to do an activity to maybe help you discover another 4-H project that you might be interested in. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put up some different questions. And what you're going to do is you're going to put an X or a check mark in the box of the color it corresponds with. So we'll go through this first one. So would you rather visit a museum or visit a zoo? If you would rather visit a museum, put a mark in your red box. Or if you'd rather go to the zoo, put a mark in your blue box. So red for the museum or blue for the zoo. We'll give you about 10 more seconds to mark your answer. All right. So if you'd rather paint a picture, mark the green box, or teach your dog a new trick, mark the blue box. So if you'd rather paint a picture, mark the green box, or teach your dog a new trick, mark the blue box. Your next two choices are to sit and observe wildlife or write a story about wildlife. So if you'd rather sit and observe wildlife, go ahead and put a mark in your yellow box. Or if you'd rather write a story about wildlife, put a mark in the green box. Okay. Here's another one, is to get paid to babysit or perform a show. So if you would rather get paid to babysit, you would put a mark in the orange box. Or if you'd like to perform at a show, put a mark in the yellow box. Your next one, build something with Legos or learn about your family history. If you'd rather build something with Legos, put a mark in your green box. Or if you'd like to learn more about your family history, put a mark in your red box. All right, here's your next one. Your options are read a book or take a hike through the woods. So if you'd rather read a book, put a mark in your red box. Or if you'd rather take a hike in the woods, put a mark in the yellow box. Okay. Your next options are cook a meal or create a recycling plan for your family. So if you'd rather cook a meal, put a mark in the orange box. Or if you'd rather create a recycling plan for your family, put a mark in your red box. Okay. Your next two options are working in a field or working in a barn. So if you'd rather work in a field, go ahead and check yellow. Or if you'd rather work in a barn, put a check mark in your blue box. Okay. Next two options are learn about your pet or learn about your pet or learn more about yourself. And so if you'd rather learn about your pet, put a check in the blue box. Or if you'd rather learn more about yourself, go ahead and put a check in the orange box. Your next options, we got a few more of these. Make something with clay or make something with fabric. If you'd rather make something with clay, put a check mark in the green box. Or if you'd like to make something with fabric, put a check in the orange box. All right. Okay. So what I want you all to do now is you're going to count how many you have in each box. And then once you've counted how many you have in each box, put the color that you have checked the most in the chat. So whatever your highest total is, put those in the chat. So if your highest color was blue, type that in the chat, or if it was yellow, green, red, or orange. Oh, we got a yellow, got a green, got a yellow and blue. So we got a tie, got a blue, orange, got a red and blue, and got an orange. Awesome. So you all have different colors. That's good. So what do those colors mean? Well, it might correlate with a different project that you might want to participate in. So if we look here, so maybe your highest color was red. So these might be some good projects for you to select from, such as aerospace, ATV, auto mechanics, bicycle, computers. So all these different things kind of have a little bit of outdoorsy, but yet also kind of helps in that engineering or kind of hands-on aspects of our program. And our next color is orange. So this, typically if your highest color was orange, it says you love to help the environment in your community. So some projects that might be available there, you know, everything from child development, foods, home environment, recycling, sewing, or woodworking. So those can kind of correlate some of the projects that might interest you. So yellow, too far. Typically means you love nature and spending time outdoors. So we have things such as floriculture. So if you like flowers, that's a good way to maybe create a flower arrangement. You know, it could lead to a career, or forestry or gardening, soil and water conservation. If you like to learn about soil science and how soil and water go together, or even the weather and how weather impacts the different things that we do. Green, that probably means you love to be creative. So we have all kinds of different projects for you to be creative, from architectural models. So if you like to build Legos or farm scenes, those kinds of things, arts and crafts. I believe there are 16 different arts and crafts categories that we have. Models, so if you like to build a model, we've seen people build model cars before. We also have performing arts. So if you like to perform things, you like to sing, or have a talent you like to share, that'd be a good project for you to take. As well as photography, scrapbooking, and woodworking. So what about blue? So that means you probably really like animals. And I've seen a couple of the photos through here, and some of you got some pets, and that's a-okay. That's the fun thing about Zoom. So we have all kinds of different projects that, you know, relate to an animal project. And you don't even have to be an animal owner to be involved in some of these projects. You can make posters and still learn about different things of animal. We have a vet science project that can help you with animal health care. So maybe that sparked an idea for a new project for you to think about. We encourage you you can still add projects as you're going through the 4-H year. So we encourage you to have that done by May 15th. So if you found another project that might spark your interest, hopefully you'll let us know and we can change that on your enrollment. One of the other quick things we kind of like to talk about is you'll notice throughout the 4-H year, we have different deadlines for things. One of those big days for us is May 15th. If you have an animal project, we have an animal ID information that's due May 15th. So more than likely, most of your livestock animals will come to a tag in. And we also ask that all the 4-Hers or their parents put their information in our online system by May 15th so that they're ID'd as a 4-H animal. So that's something to keep in mind with livestock projects as we have additional deadlines and requirements for some of those too. One of the things about fair, so Steele affectionately calls our fair the Super Bowl. So if you're a sports fan, we equated this is the big showcase of our projects and all the hard work you as 4-Hers put in. It's an opportunity for you to turn your 4-H project in to get judged and exhibited at the fair. It is always the last full week of July and the previous 2 days. We have over 3,500 projects that go through our general projects display building and over 4,000 livestock projects that are displayed each year. And so this is a really great opportunity for you to get feedback from the judges and community people on your project. So we really highly encourage that. We have a really good relationship with our 4-H Fair Board who really supports our program and all of you as youth members that participate in that. And so we have judging and things that actually happen prior to fair for those non-livestock projects. And we have a calendar already published for our July information. So there'll be 3 or 4 different days of judging depending on the project that you have. So I'll turn it over to Steele to talk about camps and special events throughout the 4-H program.
Yeah, thanks, Robert. I was doing that activity and I got yellow. Yellow was my answer. Does anybody remember what yellow was? What kind of projects yellow was? You can type it in the chat box if you remember. Because it's going to tie into some of the things I'm about to talk about. Yellow, if you don't remember, was a lot of outdoorsy stuff, wildlife, forestry, those kinds of things, gardening. And some of my favorite trips that I like to work with are outdoorsy as well. And that's 4-H camp is probably the big one. We have Michiana 4-H camp. It's for 3rd through 6th graders to be campers. And it's in Sturgis, Michigan at Camp Amigo. Maybe some of you have heard of that. I know Goshen Schools does a trip there. But we're going to be there from June 6th to the 10th this year. Counselors will go the 6th, campers go the 7th, and everybody leaves on the 10th. That's really a Monday through Friday, but a Tuesday through Friday for campers. And there's going to be about 150 kids there is the goal this year. We'll do things, we'll for example, we do a lot of hikes. They have an archery course there that we started using last year. They have a lot of outdoor cooking spaces that we use. We'll do a lot of singing and songs. We have canoes that we can use to go out into the lagoon and go canoeing. We have a dance in the pavilion. The food there is very good. I'm trying to think about what else we can do out there. We've done scavenger hunts. We do some craft classes. They have a basketball gymnasium that kids play basketball in. A bunch of other games you've probably never heard of, like 9 Square is a game that we play there a lot that's very popular. Educators like myself will teach classes. I'll teach probably a disc golf class this year. They have a disc golf course at Camp Amigo. So lots of cool things to do. You can register right now if you're in 3rd through 6th grade in Elkhart County. You can go. It's for Elkhart County 4-Hers for the week. It's $60. So $60 Tuesday through Friday for a camper to go. It's a very good deal. We've been going there for a couple of years, and we just love it. So I hope you'll consider that. If you're not quite in 3rd grade yet, maybe you're still kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade. We do offer a day camp for mini 4-Hers here in Elkhart as well. That's going to be at Oxbow Park this year, and it's at the end of June. I want to say June 29th. It's a Wednesday. I don't have that in front of me, but that's free for mini 4-Hers in Elkhart County. We'll be there from 9 a.m. to 9:30. The park opens at 9. We'll start at 9:30. We'll have some shelters out there that we'll be using, and we'll be done at about 2:30 that day. And we'll be outside pretty much the whole time, so I hope it's not too hot. But we'll have plenty of water, and we'll make it work. I'm excited to be outside at Oxbow. Might even do some disc golf there too, because there's a disc golf course there as well. So if you can't tell, I'm really into disc golf. If you don't know what that is, that's fine. I didn't know until like a year ago. What other trips do we have? So I just got an email. If you're musically inclined, we have 4-H offers a band camp and a course that they do too. So if you are choir, if you like choir, if you play an instrument, there are trips for you. I think those you have to be a little bit older, middle school to high school age. By the looks of it, that's not this age group tonight. So but it's something to think about. You guys could potentially go to band and choir at the state level. And those are at Purdue University. So you would be on campus, on a Big Ten campus for about a week as well. Also for that age group is a couple other trips that you should think about. Roundup is a big one, 4-H Roundup for 7th grade, 8th grade, and 9th grade. I always love that trip because it's where you really start to dive into career exploration, which basically means figuring out what kind of job you would like to have when you get older. And what they do at Roundup is you actually pick some classes and you get to learn from Purdue professors in some different topics. So for example, I remember one year, it was like a water conservation class, and I didn't know what that was. But what we did is we walked around in a swamp and took samples of swamp water and found all sorts of things in the swamp water, which if that doesn't sound like your thing, you're probably not yellow in the game we played. But if you are yellow, you might like that. So those are some trips and camps that are coming up. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. There's some other ones that I'm not going to mention just because they are a little bit further away probably than anybody here, but my favorite trip of all time is a trip to Washington, D.C. that we take for a week over the 4th of July. That's a possibility too. So there's national trips as well. Washington, D.C., I think there's one to Atlanta. I know there's a trip to Chicago. So different trips are out there, lots of trips. I think Robert has the next slide for me. Scholarships, yep. So again, I don't want to get into it too much because I think this age group that we have tonight is a little too young for it, but I do have all the time sophomores, juniors, and seniors in high school will ask me about scholarships and then ultimately usually tell me they wish they would have known about it sooner, right? They wish somebody would have said something to them when they were just starting their 4-H careers. So that's why we have it in this presentation. There are a number of scholarship opportunities specifically for Elkhart County 4-Hers. We have a generous community, lots of people that are invested in your future and your success and want to reward you for all of your achievements in 4-H. There are state level scholarships and there are county level scholarships. The state ones is if you're going on trips and you're taking a lot of projects, you're going to be just fine. The county ones are a little bit more specific. They're looking for specific things. But some of the county ones include like WFRN, which is a radio station. They'll award 2 $500 scholarships to sophomores, juniors, or seniors. The Janice Gothrop Memorial Scholarship will reward one $950 scholarship. But see, like for the Janice Gothard one, what's really important to that committee is they want a young person who is in 4-H in Elkhart County who's going to go off, learn a skill, and then come back to Elkhart County. So if you think you're going to be in Elkhart County forever, then that's a scholarship you might be interested in. But if you're not going to be in Elkhart County forever, then maybe not. So these are things you got to think about as you get older and you start looking into scholarships.
So I think
Yeah, this is you.
one of the important things that we want to make sure we provide you is different resources that you can use. So if you've got a phone handy, this might be a good idea. Take a picture of the sheet or the slide up here. So maybe, you know, who do you contact about what? So maybe you have questions about 4-H enrollment. How do you enroll? Maybe you change your enrollment in different projects. You want to call the extension office and our phone number is located up there. Our office is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30, and we're located on the fairgrounds, just in case you may have not been there yet. Any of our support staff or educators can help you out with those kinds of things. So projects, maybe you're working on a project, you might have some questions. The first thing we would like you to do is you typically get a project manual. You can either order that through the Google form that you got sent an email when you enrolled this year. And it's also going to be in our 4-H newsletter, which I'll talk about in a second this week. Also check the handbook. So the handbook is a big, huge guide of different projects that we have. It's available on our website that you can look at, and we can also get you a printed copy of that. And ask your club leader. So a lot of our local clubs will have people in that specific project area that can help you out. Club activities. Sometimes some of the leaders will put together a sheet of different people who are volunteering for that club that you can reach out to. So when you enrolled, you also got a email or a mailed copy of what we call our club information sheet. And that tells you, when your club meetings are, who to contact in that club for those different activities that they're doing, whether it's community service or they're doing a workshop day, those kinds of things. So special events and other countywide news. So hopefully you all by now are getting what Steele and I started, which is called the Friday 4-H Nugget. This is an email that we send on the first and third Fridays of the month. And if for some reason you're like, well, I signed up for 4-H a while ago, I may not get it, check your spam box. Sometimes those emails go to your spam folder. This is a very short and condensed version from our newsletter that we used to do. We switched to this format about 3 years ago. It's an email format that when you print it, it should be no more than 2 to 3 pages of just very current information that's happening in the 4-H program. One of the other things we also use is social media a lot, just because that seems the easiest way to get information out, is we'll post different things on our Facebook page, and we'll do a lot of our communication to our members via email as well. And feel free to call the office for any questions that you may have. We're more than happy to help you with that. I do want to share a couple of websites. I'm going to show you on the slide real quick, and then Steele's going to do a quick walkthrough of our county website so that he can show you where to share find some of those resources. So the first one is our extension website that Steele will talk about. There's also the state 4-H website. So you can take a picture of this screen too. This will give you some information about 4-H. The national 4-H website is really good if you want to see what's going on nationally, as well as some of the cool programs there. And then, of course, our Facebook, we have 2 different ones. We have the 4-H page, and then we have the extension page, our Instagram, and then we also have a YouTube page we created a couple of years ago that has all kinds of different videos, science experiments, anything from our office. And, for parents, if you need tips about gardening or those kinds of things, those are all on there too, from videos that Jeff has done, as well as some nutrition videos from some of our former health and human sciences educators. So those are all good ways to connect with us. And then I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that Steele can show us a little bit about the website and where you guys can find some information.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. So I'll be honest, I have a hard time remembering our website URL. So I always just end up going to Google and typing in Purdue Extension, Elkhart County. It's the first one. It takes you, you click it, it takes you to this page. Purdue Extension, Elkhart County, or Elkhart County, Purdue Extension. Really, it's going to be the first one that comes up. This is our website here. There's Robert and I right there in the middle. But what you really want to do when you get to this page, this is the landing page. You're going to click over here where it says 4-H. And you'll click that. And then I'm very proud of our website. I think it looks really nice. We have a lot of really good information in here. If you scroll to the bottom, you know, these are just basically, think of like an accordion, right? You know, an accordion, you kind of pull it open and pull it closed. That's what these are. These are folders that just kind of open and then you can close them. This is some basic 4-H information in this folder. You just hit that again and it closes. Enrollment, you guys have already done that, so I'm not going to get in there. Mini 4-H though, if you're in Mini, you can find a lot of the information that we give out at all of our workshops or our welcome event or a day camp. You can find it here that you can just download as well. The important dates, for example, hints for making posters, all of our manuals. So if you were at the welcome event, for example, and you were one of the unfortunate people that could not get a cake decorating manual that day because we ran out, well, you could actually download it tonight, right here, if you wanted to. We mailed you one as well. We took your information and mailed you one. But let's say you wanted to see some other projects. You could do that here for Mini 4-H. I just closed that. You can have multiple open, but I'm kind of OCD. I like to close them as I open them. So clubs, if you wanted to know all of the clubs that we offered, there's our subject area one, subject specific. We should probably change that, subject specific. General clubs also listed by like what township they're in. So if you live in Elkhart, or let's say Bristol, let's say you live in Bristol, which is a part of Elkhart County. There's 2 clubs that meet in that township there. Middlebury, New Paris, Wakarusa, and Ebony. We got clubs everywhere. And then all of our subject area clubs as well. Projects, this is the one that took the most work because if you scroll down here, we have all of our projects listed and we have all of our documents that we give you. You can just download them yourself. You can print them off at home if you wanted to. They're all there. These are all links. Every single one of these is a link. You could download the entire manual if you wanted to. Information cards, record sheets, checklists, and there's usually even more, sometimes additional things as well. So, but that's all right here. And we update this pretty often. So like even like a vaccination form is here for cats. So something to look into if you're looking for different projects or you're not sure if you want to take some, you can look at everything that we have to offer. The nugget, I feel like we keep adding words to it. I call it the nugget, but every time I turn around, Robert adds another word to it. So it's the Friday 4-H Nugget newsletter here. Who knows what it's going to be called a month from now? Just it's the nugget. It's the nugget. But these are all of our past nuggets here. So you can see by date, we do it the 1st and 3rd Friday of every month. And we have all of them from this 4-H year. We'll reset. So our 4-H year goes basically until the end of the state fair. And then we start over again in September. Okay. So as far as our 4-H calendar, that's why like the county fair is a Super Bowl. And then the state fair is just like another Super Bowl. It's like back-to-back Super Bowls for us. But that's the end of our calendar year. But you can see everything that's going on in here on our nuggets. But you're going to get the next one in the mail in your email tomorrow. We keep the July calendar here because July is the busiest month. It's Super Bowl month. Yeah. So we have our entire schedule there for people to find. Volunteer information. If you're an adult and you're watching this and you want to get involved, reach out to Robert or I, but you can also, this is some of the things that we put up there for our volunteers so they know some of the things that they need to fill out or some of the things that we have committees for, like building supervision that they're working on. So different competitions as well. Scholarships and awards, I talked about this a little bit. So these are actually the applications for some of the scholarships that we give out. And then we also have awards. Awards is something that if you're in 3rd grade or above, you can start applying for these. These are due June 1st. I believe they're already up and running. So you could, if you think that you're qualified for the leadership award, for example, and your junior category, you'll be competing with third, fourth, and fifth graders, for example. That's one of the age brackets. You can apply for an award and get recognized at the county fair. We actually give trophies to our winners and recognize them at the stage during the fair. Opportunities is just kind of a broad word for different trips. So like you can see, there's our camp stuff here. Performing arts contest. If you play an instrument or sing or dance, we have a contest for you. You can actually watch the whole, if you hit playlist here, if you go to our YouTube, you can actually watch all the people that participated in December this past year and watch all of the contest from, it already took place this year, the contest did. We do that one in December because I try to have programming year round. And then if you're just here for the animals, which a lot of you sounded like you were, you have all of your animal stuff right here too, animal livestock stuff. The information you might need to know that Robert updates regularly. And that's it. That's the 4-H website. There's a lot of stuff there, but we try to keep it organized, and it's all right there if you need it. So I just wanted to share that, give you a walkthrough. Again, just Google Purdue Extension, Elkhart County. It'll be the first thing that comes up. Click that link. It takes you right back to this page here, the home page. And you just come right down here and hit 4-H. And you're right where we were. So I'll stop sharing and let Robert bring us home.
All right. Thanks, Seal. And not much more to cover tonight. So we do want to say thank you. And we'll open it up for any questions that you may have. So if you can either type your questions in the chat or you can unmute yourself and ask any questions that you might have about the 4-H program that Seal and I can answer that we may have not been able to answer through our presentation. Well, thank you all for participating. Feel free, if you have any questions along your way, to reach out to our office, reach out to Seal or I. We'll be happy to answer those questions. We appreciate you all participating tonight, and we hope to see you all soon at a 4-H event.